Hey guys, I'm Brett Baldwin with Charge Cycle Works, and I know a lot of you guys are just like me. We're getting into fall, days are getting shorter, but you don't want to stop riding, which is why I'm here today to talk about a couple of awesome lighting options for a helmet light. In a future video, I might get into lights that go onto the bike itself and compare a bunch of those, but what's more important in my opinion is the light that goes on your helmet, because where you look is where that light follows, and that is super crucial. A light that's on the bike goes wherever the handlebars do. It constantly changes pitch and angle. It's a little bit harder to track, which is why having a solid helmet light is super crucial. So today I've got three different pretty killer options with the Oxbow Maverick, the Oxbow Voyager, and the Desert Unlimited Baja Designs S1 helmet light kit. All of these kits come in at different price points with different specs, which is why I want to compare them today to give you guys really good options for getting out there on the trail. So first, let's dive into some specs on all three of these different lights, and then we'll take it to the real world to show you guys some head-to-head tests, starting out with the Oxbow Maverick, the cheapest light of the bunch. So let's show you guys what the Maverick looks like coming out of the package. It comes with a pretty nice carrying case. First thing you're gonna see is a GoPro mount for it. This is the mount that you strap to the headlight itself and then put onto the GoPro mount. These are the straps to go around the light onto that mount. This right here is the light itself inside of that package. You've got a charging port here on the top and the on button on the other side. It comes with two different GoPro sticky mounts, one that is rounded, one that is flat. It also comes with a safety wire as well as a charger. And this is what it looks like when you get it onto its mount, onto the GoPro mount itself. Like I said, you take that strap, you put it over the top. It's kind of nice because you can just pull this right off and use it as a regular flashlight as well. And this one does not have any wires coming off it because it has an internal battery on it. This light comes in at $79.99 currently on the market today, and it's 1000 lumens. Like I mentioned before, it is not wired, has that internal battery. The battery life in its highest beam is 1.5 hours. And in a low beam is up to 7 hours. This is the lightest light that I'm going to show you guys today. It is about 1/4 pound or 0.26 pounds, and it has 4 different power modes. When I turn it on by holding this down, it can have a strobe, low beam, medium beam, and high beam. Then hold it back down, it'll shut itself off. Next light on the agenda is the Oxbow Voyager. Let's get this one pulled out of the package as well. First thing you're gonna see is the actual battery pack. This is an external battery pack, which means you have to place it somewhere on your body, your bike, wherever works best for you. You could put it in a fanny pack, anything along those lines. This does come with an arm strap, so you can actually strap this around your arm and have that connect into the light. We have got the light itself with that cord coming off it. It's a really stretchy cable, so you can put that wherever you need to. It also comes with a GoPro mount. This mount is adjustable, so you can rotate it in whatever direction you'd like to. You've got an extension cable here, the USB charging cable. So this will plug into the battery itself and then plug into a USB port and charge. This will light up red as it's charging and then go green when it's finished. Then you've also got 2 sticky mounts like you do on the Maverick, one that's rounded, one that is flat. Once you plug the Oxbow Voyager into its battery pack, a green light will pop up on the back indicating that it is ready to go. You just click that and the light will turn on. Coming off of these 2 lights is a total of 2100 lumens. So the Oxbow Voyager costs $99.99, so about $100. This light overall weighs about 0.73 pounds, so 3/4 pounds. The light itself is extremely lightweight. You have to manage this cord. It's got a really nice stretchy cord that comes back into the battery pack. This battery pack will give you over 3 hours of runtime in the highest mode and over 12 hours of runtime in the lowest mode. So that is a really nice aspect, is the battery life of this one. It comes with 3 different power modes. You turn it on, you've got a low beam, a mid beam, and a high beam, and then hold it down, the system shuts itself off. This one does not have a strobe like the Maverick does, but this light comes in the high beam at 2100 lumens. So that is double the brightness of that Maverick and only about $20 more. Now we've got the Desert Unlimited Baja S1 light kit. This is essentially Desert Unlimited taking the Baja S1 light and converting it into a helmet light kit. So this is a very proven light here, being the S1. This is used a lot in the off-road scene, and now you can put it on your helmet with this custom GoPro mount the Desert Unlimited has made, as well as this custom wiring to get it to work for an external battery pack. This kit here is a used kit, so it's not going to look exactly like this when you pull it out of the package. It is going to look quite a bit better and more put together. This used kit comes with 2 batteries. Yours will only come with 1, but you can buy additional batteries for this. It has got a car charger for the batteries if you would like to, as well as an additional charger that is just standard USB to charge this. And then it has got all of your lighting cable adapters, so you can make it the length that works best for you while you are out there on the trail. So you can take an extension cable, plug it into the light, plug it into the battery. I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this straight into the battery. There's an on switch here on the battery, and that is your charging port there, which is just a USB charging port. So I've got the S1 light plugged into the external battery. There's an on switch here on the back. If I flick that on, it shows you an indicator of how much battery life is left in this actual battery pack. And then I can take and click this button here on the light and turn the light on itself. This light does only have 1 mode, and it's extremely bright at 2,375 lumens. The battery pack itself will get you 4 hours of life, and it's super easy to just plug straight into another battery pack if you need to, if your ride is going for longer than that. The total combined weight of this light and this battery pack is 1.5 pounds. And this is the most expensive light of the bunch, coming in at $299.95 to make this Baja Designs S1 light work, which is a very, very proven light in the Baja world. This is the Desert Unlimited Baja S1 turned on. This is the pattern that it shows. It is pretty center focused with a nice flood around it, so you can really target where you're going, but also see in your peripheral vision what you need to. This is the Oxbow Voyager in its lowest mode, the Oxbow Voyager in its medium mode, and the Oxbow Voyager in its high mode. This one has a much larger flood than the Baja Designs S1 does, whereas that one has a little bit more of a center fix with a flood coming out. This one is very, very flooded all throughout the center, giving you quite the distance out of it, which we will show later on. I'm just showing you a quick comparison in studio. And this is the Oxbow Maverick in its strobe mode. This is it in its low mode. This is it in its medium mode. And that's it in its high mode. Here in studio, all 3 of these lights are extremely impressive, especially in their high mode, but we need to get it out into the real world and see how that compares. So now that you've seen some specs and a basic overview of these lights, let's actually take them into the real world, show you guys what it's like to set it up on your person, get out there and ride with them, and show you the difference between all 3 of these lights.
All right guys, first light of the night is the Oxbow Voyager that I'm testing. This is in its lowest mode. My truck, you might be able to see off in the distance. It's about 100 feet away. This is the medium mode. You can start to see that truck pretty well, and it's a really nice looking fog light pattern. And this is the high mode. You can definitely see the truck now. It's lit up pretty good. I'm gonna do a quick little scan for you guys. Back to the truck. That's about 100 feet away. All right, so far guys, with this light, you definitely want to be wearing a backpack. Just way better to keep this in that secure so that this cable is kind of running behind you and not coming down to your side on an arm. Now I will say that this floodlight is really quite good. I can see a lot while I'm out here. GoPro is probably not going to do it as much justice as I'm hoping, but I can see quite a bit. However, because this light is up by my eyes, it is a little bit on the difficult side to actually see depth, which is why you actually want to run 2 different lights. You want to have your headlight or the light that goes on the bike, because that is a lower light that's going to cast a different beam, and then you'll have this light up on your head to be able to see a little bit better. But this is working really well the brightness is quite incredible actually on it, and it's hard to complain. So we're done with that little section of trail. We're back on the road. I'm gonna speed up to about 10 miles per hour. So this is what traveling at 10 miles per hour looks like. Super easy to see everything coming up on you. Let's kick it up a notch. Have things come at us quite a bit faster. So here I'm going about 30 miles per hour. And because this is such a wide and bright light, I've got no problem adjusting to it. So I do really like this light a lot in its highest power mode. And once again, you'll get over 3 hours of ride time with this, which is quite the long ride. So overall, my thoughts on this light are it works really well. It's extremely bright. It's got a really nice flood pattern, but also a pretty decent center focus. You definitely want to run an actual headlight as well, so you can feel that depth perception, which I will show you guys soon. I think once you get this cable oriented and don't actually use the arm strap, maybe use a backpack instead, that this light won't be a problem at all. Might even be worth just securing it to your helmet so you're not hearing a banging like I am off of this light. Alright guys, now I'm on the cheapest light of the bunch. This is the Oxbow Maverick in its strobe mode. This is low mode. This is medium mode. And that is bright mode. At about that 100-foot mark, like I was before on the Oxbow Voyager, this light really only works in its highest mode, especially if you're out riding. But so far the beam is pretty good. We'll do a quick scan across back over to the truck that's about 100 feet away. So we're back on the bike now, and this light is definitely a lot more center fixed than the Oxbow Voyager was, and it actually works quite well. It's not nearly as large of a flood, so I don't have very much peripheral, but I definitely have the vision where I'm pointing the light. So as we dive into the trees here, this one could work extremely well as a secondary, especially on shorter rides. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this one only has about an hour of ride time, but it works really, really well for just the light right on top of your head, and it is super lightweight. I've got a lot of neck problems from previous years of crashing and breaking my back and getting a lot of whiplash, and this light, you can't even feel it, which is really nice. Plus, I'm not dealing with the cord hanging like I was on the Voyager, which that wouldn't be too big of a deal once I get it sorted in my backpack, but it's so simple to just whip this thing out, get on the trail, and start doing what you want to do. I'm not stopping and adjusting, I'm just riding straight through, just straight out of the package onto my helmet, and you're good to go. So if you're on a shorter ride, keeping it within about an hour at nighttime, or using this as a kind of backup light, it's going to work really good, and it's going to work great as a secondary. And it's really hard to beat that price point. I think no matter what, this is a good light to just keep on you in an essential kit. So you never know if you're going to be just caught out on the trail, and this is plenty of light to get you back to where you need to go. It's super easy to just throw right on the helmet. So now as we get into the road, where it's a lot more wide open, that's what the beam looks like at 10 miles per hour. And like I said, it's very, very center fixed. So you've got a really defined center, and then it bleeds off kind of lightly on the edges. So this is one of those lights that it's gonna be right where you're looking with your head, and that's all you got really. Which is where having a secondary or a light on your bike itself would be nice, because then you can also get that depth like I'm talking about. Alright guys, this is the Desert Unlimited Baja S1 light. This is a killer light. It's got a really nice center focus and then a really nice flood. Much brighter flood than the Oxbow Maverick does, but more of a center focus than the Oxbow Voyage. So that's kind of cool to see. This light only has one setting because it's a big desert light. Let's do a quick pan. Got a lot of good distance out of that. It is not as white of a light. It's a little bit more on the orange side, which kind of helps actually for depth. It makes things not feel as washed out. So let's see what it's like on the trail.
So this light I have got in a fanny pack. I've got the battery, I should say, in a fanny pack, and the light itself obviously on top of my helmet. It is the heaviest of the bunch, but if you get it centered out nicely on your helmet, it's not too bad. I really like that the color is not as bright white. I think that works really well for getting a little bit better feel for the terrain underneath you instead of just washing it out. And you can definitely tell that this light is super bright. Once again, this light is wired, so you do have to manage that. It works really well just putting it in this fanny pack that I'm wearing. I would say it's a lot easier on the eyes that it is this different color, and because it's the Baja S1, you can change lenses on the light really easily as well. Obviously this is the most expensive one by quite a bit over the rest of them, but it does have the most battery life, although it doesn't have adjustable modes. But this light is in its brightest mode, it has the most battery life. However, the other ones, because they have adjustable modes, can have more battery life on the lower modes. So that is something important to consider, but I would say if you're a racer, this is a really, really good option because it works great at helping you read the terrain. It's got enough of a peripheral flood that you can kind of see around you, but also that center fix, which is where your eyes truly are, is really nice, and it's not too harsh on your eyes either. So far I would say that in terms of just straight up visual, I like this light the most. I was really impressed with that 1000 lumen Maverick, and the Voyager I think is the one that I would get overall just because of the price point that it sits at. Alright, so now we're back on the road. We're cruising at 10 miles per hour. You can definitely see that pattern really, really well. How it's got a really nice center fix and then it kind of bleeds off into the peripheral. The Voyager is very, very different, where it's got two floodlights instead of a center fix. And the Maverick's got this center fix and the same bleed, but it's dimmer than this light itself.
Alright, so I want to show you guys something else that's really cool. Like I've mentioned multiple times, having a light on the bike is crucial because of the depth, and I'm about to show you that on the trail itself. So I've taken the Voyager, put it on a bar mount, and took the arm strap and just wrapped it around my bike. Now this is something that you could put on your handlebars. You can really put it just about wherever, which is why that arm strap's really nice. So I want to show you guys the difference between having a handlebar light as the Voyager, which is a really nice flood, and a helmet light to see that depth. And then I'll show you the same thing with the Voyager on the handlebars again, the Oxbow Maverick, which is the small light on the helmet. So let's go and run this trail again, show you a couple sections of both of those lights going. Now what you're going to notice with doing this is having that really nice floodlight actually shows depth in the trail now. Because that light is lower than my eyes, I can see these bumps a lot better and actually react to them because I've got that dual perception of different angles of lighting. And although earlier I mentioned having a good helmet light is extremely crucial, in all reality having both is very important for night riding, and it makes such a difference in confidence to be able to see terrain depth. And that's pretty awesome. This is actually such a killer setup between these two lights out here. It's a ton of fun. It is so much better having the depth of the terrain underneath me. I've got so much vision. It's almost like I'm riding at daytime. It really does not feel like anything is nervous about it. It just gives me a little bit more focus than what I had before. And having two lights going is so nice. Keep one field of vision where you're riding and another one where you're looking. And because both the Oxbow Voyager and the Baja S1 that Desert Unlimited made have about a 4-hour battery life, 3 to 4 hours I would say, you know what you're gonna get out of that ride. Alright guys, let's run this back one more time. This time we've got the Oxbow Maverick on the helmet and the Voyager on the handlebars, whereas before we had the Desert Unlimited Baja S1 on the helmet and the Voyager on the handlebars. I gotta say, this combo actually feels really, really nice. I like that the weight is gone on the helmet. I've got a really good visual out of that 1000 lumens and really good depth out of the Voyager on the handlebars. Something that I kind of liked about the other light was because they were two different shades. One of them was much warmer and one was much brighter. You could definitely see the difference coming from where you're looking to the one on the bike, but although I liked that in the moment, it's really kind of a minute thing in the grand scheme of things, because having these two lights, which share the same look overall, it looks really, really nice out here. Now the Baja is definitely quite a bit brighter, but because the Maverick isn't quite as bright as the Baja, I can actually see even more depth out of the Voyager off my handlebars because it's not washing that out. So I've got a really good mix of both worlds with this setup. However, what I will not have is the longevity that I would get out of the Desert Unlimited and the Voyager setup, which would be about 3 or more hours. This one I would get a maximum of 1 because the helmet light is the restrictor. So if you're going for a short rip and want to keep it to a budget, I really like this combination. I think it works great. I've got no complaints about what all I can see as we get back onto the road. This combo works great for those short rides. Anything longer than an hour, you would definitely want to go to that Baja and the Voyager setup, or any other light on the actual handlebar. If I were to go standalone helmet light, I think the best of the bunch is the Voyager. I think it comes in at the best price point. I think the battery life is really good, and overall I think getting a massive flood out of that works quite well. I think the Baja S1 that Desert Unlimited made is really quite killer.